did say that you were conscripted, so this may not apply so much.
Well, it does apply in the sense that when I was conscripted, I didn't object to it. While on the face of it, it may seem like it was an unfair system, I actually look forward to it. As a young man, I was a bit of an adventurer, and I looked on it as an adventure at the time. Probably not very mature of me to do that, but I was just a young man. So I was happy to go into the army, and I have a lot of relatives who performed army service in the First World War. I showed you the picture of the gentleman who was killed at the Battle of Fromelles, my great uncle. He was a lieutenant, and he was killed in that dreadful battle. My father was a gunner on the anti-aircraft guns in Darwin in the Second World War, trying to shoot down the Japanese bombers as they were bombing Darwin and Broome. And my uncle was a lieutenant colonel, and he served in the Second World War in North Africa and Papua New Guinea, and he was awarded a mention in dispatches. So I have a lot of military background in my family, and to me, going into the army was not an unusual thing for me to do. I felt there was a tradition which I had to keep up.
Again, similar to Andrew, I had one uncle who flew as a pilot in Europe for the RAAF, Spitfire aeroplanes. He survived the war, and I had my father served in New Guinea with the engineers, and another uncle who was served in the army. So that when my number came out of the barrel, I thought to myself, well, look, other members of my family have had to go through similar. I didn't know we were going to have to go to Vietnam at that stage, but at the same time, if that had to be, that had to be. So I was a bit the same. There was some family tradition, and so I didn't object to the fact that I was called up. Not too happy at the time, but once you got in, it was different.
And also, like when you found out that you passed your medical test, like how did you feel?
Well, the unusual thing was that I was the only one out of all my mates that got called up. The ones I went to school with, I played cricket and footy with. I was the only one number that came out of the barrel. Found out later, some years later, there were a couple other guys from school that weren't close mates, but that I knew who were called up, and I didn't know because I hadn't met them since. But you know, I felt a bit disappointed because I missed out on all the 21st birthdays because I was in Vietnam for my 21st birthday, and I missed out on all these parties. And but other than that, no, it didn't.